So we are only 7 days into the month of May, and already Brent Venables and the Oklahoma Sooners are kicking it off with a bang. They started off this month with a massive win in the transfer portal for one of the best players available, former TCU defensive lineman Dominic Williams, who chose Oklahoma over the likes of Texas, Missouri, and LSU. But it did not take long for Oklahoma to answer in kind, this time on the recruiting trail, this time for a defensive back. As Trystan Haynes picks the Oklahoma Sooners over the likes of Texas A&M and Georgia, today we need to talk about why this is such a big win. But before we can, as always, y'all know the drill, I have got to hear from you. Hop down to the comments, give me a Y for yes, N for no. Are you excited that Haynes commits to Oklahoma? And let me know what you're thinking. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification as I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it, and if you enjoyed the content, be sure to like and comment down below. But having said all that, let's jump right into this. And first and foremost, as always, who is Trystan Haynes? Well, as I alluded to in the intro, not only is he one of the best prospects in the nation, where if we look at the 24/7 Sports Composite, he comes in as the number 151 player nationally, regardless of position. He comes in as a top 20 cornerback, specifically number 18 in the nation, and a top 5 player in the state of Oklahoma. Trystan Haynes plays for Carl Albert, and he stands 6'2", 175 pounds per 24/7 Sports, and there is a lot to love about his game. First and foremost, one of the things we talk about all the time is if you can get a cornerback that has that ranginess to him, that's 6 foot plus, that's really something a lot of defensive coordinators and certainly defensive backs coaches are looking for now. It's just something that provides you that extra ability to disrupt the pass from a wide receiver. And especially when you look around the nation, some of these wide receivers standing 6'2" plus. Having a cornerback that can answer in kind is exactly what so many defensive minds are after nowadays. And Trystan Haynes certainly has that. The other thing you have got to love about his game is the versatility. I mean, this is a guy that's making huge plays all over the field. Whether that be at wide receiver, whether that be at kick return or defensive back, he's making his impact known. And whenever I was watching his film, one of the things that stood out is he's not just a guy when he's playing offense that they say, okay, go deep, because he certainly has track speed as he has been excelling on the track as well. This is a guy that they're throwing screens to. This is a guy that they're just getting involved in any possible way because he has a real positive effect on the game, and especially on special teams. This is someone who could actually start seeing the field sooner rather than later, no pun intended, because of his abilities to be a difference maker on special teams. And that's always something I find very interesting, whether that be punt return, whether that be kick return. This is a guy that provides you a lot of opportunity. And if you're a defensive backs coach, if you're a defensive coordinator, you have got to love getting in a win like this. And as I alluded to, this is a win that comes over the likes of Texas A&M and Georgia, and we know how well both of those institutions recruit. So if you're Oklahoma, you have got to love this. And I don't mean to keep calling back to the past, but one thing I find very interesting is you had a coach right before Brent Venables got there that wasn't recruiting the state of Oklahoma at the level that Brent Venables is. And right now, this Oklahoma Sooners recruiting class is actually ranked ahead of USC. With this win, they are the number 4 class in the nation with 15 commits. And if we look at the top 10 recruiting classes in the nation per 24/7 Sports Composite, it's really interesting. The number 1 class in the nation as we sit here and talk is Notre Dame. Number 2 is Ohio State. Number 3, LSU. No surprises within the top 3. Remember, we always talk about Notre Dame is a team that really starts off fast every single year on the recruiting trail. We can go back to past 3 classes with Marcus Freeman, and this is kind of their MO at this point. They're going to hit the ground running and quickly, as they currently have 20 prospects committed in that class. But Ohio State, LSU, I don't think anybody's surprised to see them in the top 5 of any recruiting rankings. At number 4, we have Oklahoma. At number 5, we have USC. At 6, Clemson. 7, Alabama. 8, Syracuse. And watch out for Syracuse now. I'm not claiming they're going to be world beaters, but they have made some fantastic hires, and a lot of the hires they made, if you've been around the world of recruiting, if you've really been paying attention, these are guys that these recruits really respond well to, and I'm really interested to see what positive effect they can have on the university, because Syracuse is a team that hasn't been great, but this new staff is doing everything they can to make it a desirable location. At number 9, we have Penn State, and at number 10, Auburn. So within this top 10, you have some familiar brands, and Oklahoma is certainly making the case that they are going to be a consistent player in the top recruiting classes in the nation. Certainly since Brent Venables has gotten there, and certainly in multifacets, whether we're talking traditional recruiting means or whether we're talking transfer portal acquisitions, where this Sooner staff continues to excel. At the end of the day, this is a huge win for Oklahoma. You get to keep him away from two future opponents within the SEC, being A&M and Georgia. And like I just said, we know they recruit at a very high level, both A&M and Georgia. You want to make sure that the players in your state, if you can help it, are playing for you as opposed to playing for people you're going to be playing. Now, that's a lot easier said than done. Recruiting has become so national that it's just not possible, or it's very unlikely to keep every top player in your state, because some kids, they want to see something new, and that's perfectly reasonable. But what I can say is it's very impressive the job Brent Venables has done at telling top talent within the state of Oklahoma, no, you're better off staying here with us. You're better off playing for the Sooners and making an impact, especially as we transition to the SEC. As we have known and we have talked about before, that brand alone will get you in a door. That might not be the reason you win a recruiting battle, but the SEC is so powerful, it might get you in a living room to then make a pitch. Then when you couple that with a brand like the Oklahoma Sooners, one of a few blue bloods in college football, that can win you battles. It's when you couple those two massive brands, that's when you start winning battles. So this is going to be very interesting to see, but there is no arguing that this is a massive win for Oklahoma, and there is no arguing that this Oklahoma staff is doing a really good job at cohesive recruiting. Something I talk about all the time, something I have stated that while the last Oklahoma staff could certainly get some very talented players, no arguing that, it wasn't what I would refer to as cohesive recruiting. I always liken this to a meal, where some of the last Oklahoma classes under the last regime was like a McDonald's meal. Is it food? Sure, no doubt about it, and it can even be very good food, but at the end of the day, is that a nutritious meal conducive to long-term success? No, not necessarily. This new Oklahoma staff, they're making sure all of their needs are hit time and time again, and because of that, I think that's going to be why they face long-term success. But at the end of the day, I can't wait to hear from all of you. Hop down to the comments, let me know what you're thinking after Brent Venables and Oklahoma get another big-time win as they look to head to the SEC. That's it. See ya.